All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the weekly Wednesday lunchtime live stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. I am DDO's community manager, and I'm not going to be with you for a full hour because the game worlds are down. Unfortunately, with the work that we are doing related to hardware maintenance this morning, took longer than expected. So rather than being able to get up by noon, as was our intent, we've had to push it out until 1 o'clock. And that's because it's actually taking that long to do the various server. They're running some like kind of cleanup programs and updates and things like that. So just taking a little bit longer than expected to get through all the maintenance work today. The game worlds will be opening though within the next hour, probably a little closer to 1 o'clock. I guess we'll have to see how it goes. So I'm mostly just hanging out with you for a little bit. Just going to do a little bit of Q&A, talk about what news I can, which is not very much, although I can talk about when we're going to be hearing a whole lot more. And there we are. So I do see myself live on Facebook. I see myself live on YouTube. Oh, thank you, everyone. Very nice to see everyone. Yeah, we have a new producer. So let me just kind of talk a little bit about what is in the works. So on the larger size scale for the next couple of months, we are hard at work on a whole bunch of things. We have got the Isle of Dread. That's going to be something we're going to be talking a whole lot more about here in the near future. That'll be not next. Next will be a raid with an adventure pack. That is getting ready to go on to Lamania. We do have a new producer. It's a name that some of you are going to know. Many of you are probably going to know. And this person will be introducing themselves when the time is right. That should be in the very near future. This person is transitioning over into the production role. Starting last week, going on this week. So some of the sales and coupons and that might be a little rocky for the next couple of weeks as people who aren't used to doing said work have to start doing said work. But nonetheless, we got someone here that'll be doing an introduction soon in a producer's letter. And that producer's letter is going to have a lot more information about what to expect in the next quarter or so. The intention is to hopefully get that producer's letter out, if not by the end of the month, then early February. Now, every time I say that, I jinx it. I hope I didn't jinx it right now. But that is the intention, is that we'll have a producer's letter for you here really within a couple of weeks. And that's going to outline pretty much everything you need to know for the next quarter or so. But we do have update 53 happening here in the pretty near future, and that is going to be that raid and adventure pack. That's going to be previewed on Lamania real soon. This week we had a special preview for the Players Council. We needed someone to test out a surprise. And that surprise might be coming with Snow Peaks here in a couple of weeks. And assuming everything works out, I ran it. So did members of the Players Council this week in kind of a private preview, and it was working just fine as far as I could tell. So assuming that actually checks out by people who do this for a living and have, checklists and stuff to check out, we should have something to do for Snow Peaks this year, and that's going to be really fun too. And I don't want to spoil the surprise on it. So that's why it didn't get a full Lamania preview this time around, because we don't want to spoil the surprise. We want you to have some fun with it, and I think hopefully that you shall. So that's really what we have going on in the near future. We got previews happening. We've got the release of Update 53. We've got a producer's letter in the works. We have some kind of behind the scenes shuffling going on, and we're working all the way to finalize the remaining details of our roadmap for the rest of the year. And a whole bunch of other things are happening as well, including downtime today. However, this week is actually pretty quiet. Outside of the kind of private preview thing that I just talked about and a bunch of internal kind of in the office work, overall things are fairly quiet this week because the festival cookies stopped dropping. and the Jester's going to stick around through the weekend. So make sure you do turn in those cookies, or you could save, or not cookies. Make sure you do turn in your coins. However, you can also save them for next year if you've got everything you want from this year's festival, which I thought those cookies went pretty good. I've actually been using them quite a bit myself. It's also been funny. Last week's show when I said, don't mail me sun flasks on the hardcore server. I said that because someone said they were going to mail me a bunch of sun flasks, and I was like, I love sun flasks, but don't mail them to me. Well, obviously, the opposite happened, because that's exactly what everyone should and would do. So I'm sitting on a whole bunch of sun flasks now on the hardcore server. I was playing with them last night on Samus Garobo's stream, which, by the way, I'm taking part of that. That's a hardcore thing with me, Samus, and the rest of the crew, and we're just meeting on Tuesdays and Thursdays in the evenings and trying to get me and everyone else who wants to level 20, hit that 1750 favor on hardcore and what have you. And it's been a good time, and obviously it's a lot easier to do when you're in a group, and much easier to do when you're in a group with people of the caliber of Samus Garobo. So it's been going really well, and I think we're all but sitting on 13, which will be the cusp of new for me, by the way. 12 is my solo highest to date, so we're about ready to go into uncharted territory, and I'm looking forward to that very much. I don't have a bonus for you yet, although I will double check before right now, actually, while I'm talking, to make sure that that's the case. But I think I currently do not have a bonus to provide to you today. So, we have a calendar we need to fill out, and everyone's been too busy, and that's really all there is. So how is my hardcore adventure going? It's going good. It's going good. You can see it on twitch.tv/Samus Garobo and his YouTube channel, I think. Or is it just on Twitter? I don't know. Anyway, you can find it. It's not just on Twitter. It's on Twitch. I was there last night. Twitch.tv/Samus Garobo. I think we're actually going to be doing some running tonight of that as well. I'm fairly low on the voice chat. I am talking. You know I can't stop talking. But at the same time, this is me playing more than me being up front and center camera-wise, if you know what I mean. But you also know I can't stop talking. So, of course I'm going to be talking during this thing. So, anniversary event soon, right? Yes. I think it may be a little later in February before the actual anniversary event begins. You know, typically we've called it any time before February 28th, generally, to start. And there have even been a few years where we've gone well into January here. Oh my gosh, I've got such bright lights I can't even read this black on red right now. You're going to have to give me just a second to look up our calendar. I can't read it. The glare of the spotlight. What day is today? Today's the 12th. Okay, yeah, I do not have a bonus for you. I apologize. We're going to have to work on getting our bonus calendar set. There may be nothing scheduled for this weekend, in which case maybe we can try to pop something on. Anyone have a preference? Can't guarantee it, but it's happened before. If they're like, well, I don't know, what should we do? I'll just say what you guys want me to say. VIP XP? We did do that fairly recently, but maybe. 100% buddy bonus. Yeah, that would be, yeah, okay. More XP? All right, well, sounds like people are looking for the XP side, so we'll have to I'll pass that along if we have a chance. Maybe we can do either a smaller buddy boost or a smaller XP boost or something like that here for this weekend. So, 5-year anniversary for Reaper going live next month. Wow, that is a milestone. 5 years, huh? Wow. All right, buddy bonus for sure. Okay. You like the buddy bonus rather than just the universal, huh? That's cool. Oh, Champion Hunter might not be a bad idea either, actually. People have built up some mysterious remnants. I'm seeing YouTube chat asking for Champion Hunter. That's not a bad idea either. I think either of those might be totally possible. All right, let me take a look quick on Facebook, make sure I've got an opportunity to answer people's questions. I can't announce how many levels will be for the new level cap. That'll be coming later, sorry. I don't believe the new raid will be free. I believe it's part of the adventure pack, and the adventure pack is, free to VIPs and available for sale otherwise. So Rachel's asking about the status of reincarnation bugs. We have not, as far as I am aware, I am not aware of any major reincarnation bugs that have happened in recent weeks. I know that we have had a few, in recent months, though, so it's something that we often have to do some pretty manual labor to correct on the part of customer service in particular. But I know that we had done some work to try to lock it down. We're frequently trying to continue to lock down that process. But I haven't heard of anything in the most recent week, so hopefully that's a good sign, huh? Saltmarsh will be going to the DDO store. Didn't we say March? When did we say on Saltmarsh that it would be going to the DDO store? I would need to double check our own wording as to what we said. DDO.com. Saltmarsh. Okay. February, according to the wiki. All right, thank you so much. So, yeah, February. I would guess around the anniversary, probably. Something like that. But I don't know. So, what does the producer do other than the letter? Well, that's an interesting question. So, generally, a producer in a software studio, which ultimately a video game is, right, is in charge of whatever kind of workflow process that you use to do your development, whether that's a sprint system or something like that. And generally, the producer is the one who is in charge of making sure that the work gets done, making sure that the work comes in under the proper scope, that it's scoped correctly going in, that, things can be done in the schedule allotted with the manual labor hours that are available. If, and let's be real, there's always push and pull on that. When you do get into kind of crunchier situations where things are running behind in that, it's a producer's job to help identify ways to work through that the most quickly. So they'll be doing things like, hey, okay, we're going to have to, perhaps it goes as extreme as, hey, we're going to have to cut X so that we can get Y shipped by update Z. It can also be the case that they will be like, all right, you have to work on this thing, and that person can maybe be more flexible. So instead, we're going to give that person this aspect of the work that's being done. So they do a lot of that kind of manual labor that's involved in actually producing it. They often are in charge of whatever internal wikis, editors, jets, Trellos, whatever, all that kind of stuff, right? All the archival. They're often in charge of meeting with the executive team, which is, Severlin and then the people even above him, right? So they are ultimately responsible for reporting requirements. They're often the interface between, say, engineering and technical operations and localization and the systems team, for example. So they do some of that. Now, some of that also is a community role, and they do kind of frequently work together. I work with Oleg actually quite a bit, and we communicate a lot because he is generally, if I see something on the forums that I don't know the answer to, where are all the ways that you can get X? It would be a producer that I would go to go through all that sort of thing. So that's really what a producer does. It depends on other things as well. It is often a producer that helps set the bonuses for the quarter along with our e-commerce people and things like that. So there's a whole bunch of roles that a producer does, but it really is about production. It's a production level role where you're not just making decisions, although you often are in many cases, making decisions at a level below, say, the executive level production as needed. But you're someone who is making it happen, and it's honestly your job to make sure that it makes it happen. So it's a really cool position. And when we've had producers, we've had everything over the years, from multiple producers back in the day all the way down to no producers, which we've gone through at least some of 2021 without a producer on the DDO side. And so it's good to have someone in that role. And we're really excited that this person is heading in. They're getting ramped up. And when they're comfortable announcing it and talking a little bit about it, it'll probably be in the producer's letter as sort of an introduction. And that should be happening here within a few weeks. All right. Oh, I have a couple of reports. I suspected that me saying I hadn't heard of any epic reincarnation problems might bring some out in chat, and indeed that is the case. I've got one person here who has a tome issue. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully, customer service can take care of that for you. I name dropped, but I didn't explain it on the DDO side here. Oleg is the producer for the Lord of the Rings Online. And he himself has been in this position for at least about a year now. No. Spicy asked on Twitch, was Feywild not supposed to get a second raid? I had not heard of plans to do a second raid for Feywild, no. I'm pretty sure we had, if we hadn't announced that back in the day, I'm pretty sure we did. But no is the answer, actually. There is not a second raid with Feywild. Any fix to last week's code? Thank you for bringing that one up. Yes, it should be fixed now. And we're going to run it an extra week. Last week's freebie coupon didn't work, and we didn't catch it. Well, you caught it, but we were all busy doing other things, including downtime over the weekend, and we didn't get to fixing the coupon until Monday. So instead, what we're going to do is we're just going to have 2 coupons really running, starting tomorrow. And we'll have it then. So. All right, let me head over to YouTube. Can you play D&D on your own, or do you have to have a dungeon master? Starting said D&D story. So I think this person on YouTube is actually asking about the pen and tabletop version of Dungeons and Dragons. Can you play Dungeons and Dragons tabletop on your own? First, let me answer the question to DDO for the video game that I am a community manager for. That's the channel you're watching on YouTube. Thank you, by the way. Nice to see you. We are a video game, and yes, you can absolutely play on your own, and you can play for free. Go to ddo.com, give it a download, and check it out. On tabletop, you generally do want a second person at least to play tabletop Dungeons and Dragons. There are ways, however, over the years to play solo. There have been official solo releases, for example, that tend to work either as almost like choose your own adventures, or perhaps with a little bit of kind of rules and combat and such in there, or some kind of revealed map. I remember back in the late 80s, was it? Where TSR had released these things where you use like a red film to go over the map so that you can do it solo. So it is possible to play tabletop solo, although generally it's an exception rather than sort of an expectation. All right. Also welcome. It's great to see you. I am scrolling through Facebook chat right now. A producer makes things happen. That is true. It is very much similar to product and project management. It tends to be a little maybe wider in scope than that. And it is ultimately sort of if you look at the kind of organizational tree, right, you'll have the executive producer and then the producer. And then the producer is generally the person where heads of various departments would report upwards to. So, in a traditional environment, anyway. Uh, Also, welcome, Jaggy. Very nice to see you in Facebook chat. It's been a while. Would a care package of crafted goodies be welcome to send? I'm going to say no, not because we wouldn't love to receive it, but because we're all still basically working from home with COVID. And so sending crafted goods to the office means they're probably going to sit there for potentially even a couple of months before someone gets to them. So I would encourage you probably not to mail in any crafted goods and things like that. Although if you do want to, I guess they would be there for whenever we did return to the office, but probably I would hold off on it. Sorry. I would love to do Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. It was one of my favorite modules from first edition, as goofy as it is. Or maybe because as goofy as it was. Yeah. Alright. I need to take care of a person being a jerk in YouTube chat. Sorry, dude. Bye-bye. Okay. Any word on when you will get a construct mount? I have no word to share. That sounds cool. We should totally do that. We should totally do that. You remember that red film? I remember it too. I still have the module at some point. I should go in and bring that out. I can't spoil Isle of Dread. Sorry. Why are cookie jars bound to character? It's because they were sold through the DDO store, and traditionally that kind of gathering bag, we prefer to have in a bound to character rather than bound to account state. I know in general the community prefers bound to account so that you can load it up and ship it to a different character and unload it. That is a generally fairly risky behavior and one we often choose not to encourage by making bound to character items that you pay real money for in the store. That way, if and when things go poof, because you sent them through a very risky procedure, or a procedure that is not 100%, things can happen. And that's why. And so we make it bound to character, so we don't have to worry about it. Yes, Ariel R over on YouTube says, "How will we be able to access Isle of Dread from the Hut from Beyond?" I think that remains to be seen, but probably. I think we even have a little bit of text in the Hut from Beyond saying that it's how you'll access Isle of Dread. I think I saw that over the weekend or yesterday, maybe even in on the hardcore server. So I think we'll probably get there through that hut, but there will also be presumably. Usually, we have some kind of teleportation item that we put into the packages that are available in our expansions. And so I would expect to see that as well. But I think otherwise, the main portal probably will be through that hut. Yeah. I mean, it could change. It could not be, but that would be my guess. Is that is what we're going to do. All right. Well, I managed to talk for a whole bunch, but I think I'm pretty much out. We are getting ready to reopen the game worlds, but we're not quite there yet. I don't have bonuses to say. Sorry. I don't really have a whole lot else that I can talk about yet because we're right on the verge of doing a bunch of things. Let me take one real quick look at the calendar and one more swing through chat just to see if I can find something that we should mention. That's it. That's all I got for news. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll be reopening the game worlds probably in just a little bit here. But until then, I will see you next Wednesday for the weekly Wednesday Lunchtime live stream on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. You can find the archive shows on said places as well, and I'll be back next Wednesday with a whole bunch more. So have a great week, everyone, and I will talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.